It's time now for our business update, and I'm joined here by Brian Quinn. Hi, Brian.
Nancy.
You're starting off with a major legal victory for Google.
Yeah, that's right. The tech giant will not be liable for over €1 billion in back taxes being sought by the French government. A Paris court ruling Wednesday evening that France cannot tax Google's Ireland subsidiary on advertising revenue booked there. The French government had accused Google of illegally abusing tax loopholes by routing sales to its European headquarters in Ireland, where business taxes are much lower. Google has 700 employees in France and significant operations here, but in 2015 it paid less than €7 million in French corporate tax. EU authorities have been getting tougher on internet companies doing business here. In June, Google was hit with a record €2.4 billion fine for anti-competitive practices.
And turning now to the United States, where internet companies like Facebook and Twitter have joined in the fight to keep the internet a level playing field.
That's right. Wednesday marked a day of internet protest in the U.S. to support the principle of net neutrality. That's the idea that all data should be treated equally by internet service providers as it crosses the infrastructure of the web. But those service providers are lobbying the U.S. government for the power to treat data however they want, including charging websites more for faster delivery, and they have a friend in the current administration. Sharon Gaffney reports.
Taking their campaign from Silicon Valley to Washington, protesters are calling for lawmakers not to abandon net neutrality, a policy introduced by the Obama administration in 2015. It's based on the principle that all internet data should be treated equally, with the internet remaining open to everyone. Net neutrality prevents internet service providers from blocking content or intentionally slowing down certain websites. It also means they can't sell a so-called fast lane version of the internet to big companies. Republicans want to change the net neutrality rules, arguing they're detrimental to jobs and investment. The party is being backed by the new head of the US Federal Communications Commission, who was appointed by President Trump in January. The Commission claims that broadband capital expenditures have fallen by more than 5% in recent years because of the net neutrality regulations. More than 80,000 websites in the US have joined an online protest against the proposed changes.
This is really about ensuring that everyday people have the same rights and the same freedoms and the same security and protections that they deserve. They should be able to get online and access content equally.
But internet service providers like Comcast, Verizon and AT&T are supporting the net neutrality proposal. Campaigners say these companies stand to make substantial profits if they're allowed to charge extra for high-speed bandwidth. The FCC will make a final decision in August after receiving feedback from the public.
And what about the markets, Brian?
Well, European shares opening mixed Thursday, some following Wall Street up after the Dow closed at a record high yesterday. Some investors reassured by U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen's plan to gradually unwind the central bank's asset portfolio. We see the London FTSE 100, however, down 1%. Paris's CAC 40 up 1%. Asian markets also making gains in Thursday trading. Korea's central bank says it's keeping interest rates steady. Kospi index hitting a record high during Thursday trading. New trade data coming out of China showing that country beating estimates for both imports and exports. Hong Kong's Hang Seng and the Shanghai Composite both in positive territory. Well, let's take a look at some more of today's business headlines. China's trade with North Korea has risen over 10% compared to last year. The U.S. has urged Beijing to use economic pressure on the Hermit Kingdom after a number of missile tests this year have inflamed regional tensions. The Chinese Customs Administration says it is respecting international sanctions, pointing out that while exports to North Korea rose, imports fell. And the French government has completed a €2 billion capital increase in Areva. The largely state-owned nuclear group is undergoing a restructuring plan that involves selling its reactors to French power utility EDF. Its uranium mining, fuel production, and plant decommission businesses will be spun off as a separate company which will receive €2.5 billion in capitalization from the French government.
And finally from you, Brian, the ongoing delays at Paris's major airports are now figuring in international politics. Tell us more.
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump landed not long ago at Orly Airport just south of Paris. Now, for days, often almost weeks, airlines have been complaining of major delays at the city's hubs, and that's being blamed on heightened security measures due to the country's ongoing state of emergency, coinciding with the summer vacation season. Now, as Trump was planning his trip, the head of one French airline put his foot down. He sent a request to Trump to land, please, somewhere else. And perhaps no surprise, his plea has gone unheard. We'll see what that does to the lines at Orly today, of that extra delay of Air Force One on the tarmac there. Can't do anything to help the security.
Indeed we will. Brian Quinn, thank you very much for that business update. And we're going to